But to start the video, I'm going to go over some top pet peeves that I have as a flight attendant. So I was kind of inspired. I just did a live stream with Destination Destiny. She invited me onto her YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out later, I put her link in the description. There was, I want to say, at least 5 or 6 or 7 flight attendants in the live stream that we did, and there was a lot of comical pet peeves that flight attendants had. So just to bring some humor to your day, I'm going to give you guys my top pet peeves as a flight attendant, and then give you guys a quote. And then after the quote, I'm going to go through my direct messages and try to answer as many questions as I can. And if you guys have a bunch of questions, let me know. I'm going to try to scroll through and answer as much as I can for you guys. So to go through this, so I created a list of 8 pet peeves. And number 1 pet peeve of mine is when a passenger leaves the bathroom and then they put their towel on the galley counter. So what I mean by that, like the galley is like our work area. So when someone goes to the bathroom, they can, for some reason, never find the trash. So what they do is they bring out their towels after drying their hands off, and they just throw it on our galley counter. And the counter is like where we prep everything. We eat our food. So that's like number 1 pet peeve of mine. Number 2 is when you're going through and you're doing service and a passenger asks you just for 1 ice cube. I don't know if you guys see my TikTok video, but I did it with the pilot. Me and him were joking around when he asked for like 3 ice cubes. But there are customers that ask for like just 1 ice cube. And like I'll give them a little bit more because, you're trying to rush through. Sometimes you have like 35, 40-minute flights and you're trying to get through with service. And like, can I get 1 ice cube in there? And it's like, you don't have time to like sift out the ice cube. So that's pet peeve number 2. Pet peeve number 3 is, so on our carts, when we do service, our carts, we have like ice buckets hanging off the side of our carts. And when you're going through doing service, customers, what they do is when they're done with their trash or their wrappers, they'll just throw it in that bucket, not knowing that it's an ice bucket, but they don't even like think to ask if that's trash. So that means we have to go all the way back to the front, empty out the ice bucket, and reset the ice bucket up. So that's pet peeve number 3 of mine. And if you guys can relate to these pet peeves, just give me a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Pet peeve number 4 is when going through and collecting trash, is another one of mine, is people kind of stack up their trash on their tray table, which is fine. I don't mind that. But usually like most customers like will pick up their trash and they'll hand it to you. My pet peeve is when a customer is like sitting there and they just like point at their trash to just like, that's the trash. And they don't even look at you. And it's just like they expect you to just like bend over and just start picking all their stuff up for them. So that's pet peeve number 4. Pet peeve number 5 is when passengers decide to change their baby's diaper in their seats. Now, what we tell people is you have to, there's changing tables in the bathrooms for a reason, and you're supposed to dispose of it in the bathroom. So when we're going through with trash, they're handing us these diapers, and we're not allowed to take them because, those trash carts are sitting in our galley. So just think about that smell is going to be radiating throughout the galley. So that's pet peeve number 5. Pet peeve number 6 is kind of, it's small, but it's when passengers leave the bathroom, they always just like leave and they don't completely shut the door. So the door is like swinging. That's annoying. And that happens like 99% of the time. And I caught myself doing it too, but that's a pet peeve. Number 7 is when passengers, I've talked about this before, passengers go to the bathroom barefoot. I haven't seen that lately. I think with the whole coronavirus going on, I don't think many people are walking barefoot, but I could be wrong. People still could be doing this. So that's pet peeve number 7, because when they get in there, there's water on the floor, but it's not water. And they usually just throw napkins down. It's really gross. Pet peeve number 8 is when I've had this happen to me a bunch of times. A passenger comes up to me and they ask me what's going on with the delay or what is the delay for. And I always tell them like straight up what the delay is for. But sometimes they like look at me and they're like, no, you're lying. And I'm like, okay, sorry, I just told you the truth. And then they walk off after calling me a liar. I'm like, I just told you. So those are 8 pet peeves. There's another incident that I thought about that was kind of funny. So like we have to kind of brief whenever there's like an allergy on the airplane. We have to brief rows, you know, in the vicinity that like, hey, there's a nut allergy in the area. We ask that you refrain from using nut products. And so I did that, knocked that out. And then when we were going through doing service, this lady asked for oat milk creamer. And I was like, oh no, we just got these creamer packets. And she's like, oh, that's a disgrace. So you guys cater to nut allergies, but you don't cater to like milk intolerances? And I was like, well, that's actually a very good point. I think what you should do is just go to our promises page and send a note to our company and let them know about that. That's a really good point you made today. And like just left it at that. But that's my pet peeves for you guys. There's a bunch of questions in here. Eric said, touching me or pulling me for my attention. Yes, that is. Don't touch a flight attendant. That's one. It's just weird. Not flushing, closing the lab door. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before I get into these direct messages, I want to give you guys a quote. It is by Aristotle. Its excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Love it. So I'll tell you guys what that means to me at the end of this live chat. But if you guys want to let me know down in the comments after the video about what that quote might mean to you, that'd be awesome. But let's go to these messages for you guys. Yeah, and if you guys want, like, I'm thinking about doing this at least once or twice a month where I give you guys a heads up and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be going live on this day at this time. Go to my Instagram, send me questions, because what I'll do is I'll just go to my Instagram. I don't know, I can't see that. And then I'll answer your questions for you guys on the live chat, because it's much easier than going through my messages and answering everything. What is your opinion on mail services like Freshly? So personally, mail services, I think they're awesome. Like if you have the money to spend on mail services, and like you don't have the time to mail prep, mail services are awesome. I've never heard, I mean, I've had a couple of people reach out to me about signing up for Freshly, but I've never personally done that. When I first started this job as a flight attendant, I did start with a company called, I think it was like meal prep company in Jacksonville. One of my buddies runs it, and it was awesome. It was very convenient, but it was expensive. And when I can make the meals for like a way lower reduced price, I'm going to choose that alternative over spending a bunch of money on meals being made for me. But if you have the money, go for it. It's going to save you some time. We had a question about the military. I was wondering when you guys are doing tryouts for sniper section. So I personally haven't had drills since January. My unit did get called up for state active duty. I'm a Florida Army National Guard soldier, if you guys didn't know. I was supposed to go down there, I think a week ago, but I ended up getting told to just stay home because I wasn't going to be able to get there on time that they needed me to get there because I was on a trip. So they said, just forget about it. But they are looking for volunteers to continue on with state active duty. But sniper section tryouts, I am not positive. We usually run those once a year, but it's been such a hectic year so far that they've canceled a few of our drills already. So I'm not sure, but I'd assume by next summer or even spring, we'll be doing tryouts again. But we are recruiting because we have a very light section right now. How long might it take airlines to hire again? I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I'm just wondering how long it's going to take for us to go back to normal flying, because the flight loads are very bare and it feels like you're in a prison when you're on a layover because you can't do anything. What is your favorite family tradition? Uh, I think my favorite family tradition is just everybody getting together and just being able to, be surrounded by family, socialize, and kind of catch up. When you get older, time becomes limited, and I think just embracing and cherishing those moments that you get when you have family gatherings. Like, for instance, right now, like, everybody's off from work. All my family, I'd love to go travel and hang out with them, but everybody's doing the social distancing, so it's like a good time to go see everybody, but it's also a bad time. But yeah, just cherish the moments that you can when you have like family parties and holidays. Are you looking for another job in case you don't fly anytime soon or you get furloughed? Um, well, I have a job opportunity in New York. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. I have a job opportunity coming up, and uh, it's all dependent on this whole coronavirus thing that's going on, and I kind of put that on hold. But I'm still actually working with my buddy on the side, helping him create a business right now that's about to launch, and I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. So I am doing other jobs, which is nice. But no, I'm not really looking to like leave the airlines, if that's kind of what you're hinting at when you ask the question. But I mean, if I were to get furloughed, I should be fine, and I should be set with the job opportunity that I have coming up here. Let's see. What should the favorite food? My favorite restaurant is Chipotle. I love Chipotle. My favorite coffee shop is Starbucks. My favorite meal would probably be something that's like spicy, so like buffalo or something like that. Fort Rucker resumed flight training. So if you guys didn't know, I've been in the process for coming up on a year now of going to flight school for the Army. And April 18th was supposed to be my interview to go to flight school, and that got canceled due to the coronavirus. And that was the last step in process into going to flight school. And so that kind of got halted. But I guess Fort Rucker resumed flight training, but I haven't heard from the warrant officer yet that's conducting the flight interviews if they've resumed. Input on JetBlue hiring and postponed Blue reviews. I have no input on that because as soon as I hear about when we are hiring, I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. I haven't heard about the postponed Blue reviews, but it's a good assumption to assume that it's going to be a little while. Just because you see other airlines shutting down, and it's a question that I can't really answer, but I would just assume that's going to be a little while. So don't put all your eggs in that basket, and just kind of do what you can now and focus on yourself. Let's go to regular messages. Will there be a chance? So I got some questions for the military. So with being in college and having to finish my degree, would there be a chance I get deployed if I were to go infantry in the National Guard and miss school? Yes, this is a possibility unless you are under an ROTC contract. So on my senior year of college, I ended up going on a 11-month deployment. So I actually missed my whole senior year, and then I came back and finished it a year later. So there is a chance that you can get deployed, and it just depends on the rotation of your guard unit. Is there a lot of people currently in college that are in the military? Yes. When I was at college, they had a bunch of people on campus that were in the military, and they even have like separate study halls if you're a military member, and they have like extra perks and benefits as well. So make sure to take advantage of those. If there's like one thing or one piece of advice that I'd have to give someone, it would be to take advantage of all the free stuff, that free opportunities and things that colleges give you. And if anything, if I could go back to when I was in college, I would be doing everything that I'm doing now. I put too much time and energy into partying and going out and, not really fulfilling my purpose. I was just filling my time with fun activities. So that's my advice to you guys if you're going to be going to college here. We got, hey Chris, how's quarantine affecting you as a flight attendant? So this month has been pretty awesome. I had a full flight schedule, and I'm only working 2 trips this month. The rest of my trips were canceled, and I'm pay protected for all those trips. So I'm getting basically full pay this month with doing very minimal work. And then when I do work, I'm really not working because one, there's like 10 to 20, maybe 30 passengers on a flight, and no one wants you to go near them. So when you go through to do service, no one wants you there. And our service has been reduced to water and snacks. I haven't checked my email. It might be reduced to nothing, but I'm not positive on that. But we do limited service right now, and it is mandatory now for us to wear masks as well. Let's see what else we got. There is a bunch. What advice do you have for the quarantine 15? Do you have any videos of at-home workouts? I have a bunch of at-home workouts on my Instagram. It's at Kellum22. For the quarantine 15, I'm going to create a video. It's going to be how to lose the quarantine, the quarantine 15. And my goal with that video is just going to be basically showing you how to start a fitness plan, how to stay dedicated to that fitness plan, how to stay motivated. And I'm going to be providing more services down the road. It's just right now it's been a hectic weekend. So usually I try to post videos Mondays and Fridays. But Shanley and I, we just started packing up our stuff. We plan on moving here soon. So I wasn't really able to record this weekend. But I'm hoping to have a video out for you guys Friday. And I am working on that, how to have or avoid the quarantine 15 or lose the quarantine 15. My journey to become a pilot has been put on hold. Working with lazy crew members when packs speak in condescending tone of voice. Love it. When I ask the drink order, not knowing. Yeah, I've actually worked with other in-flight crew members that, like, as soon as they're done with service, they don't do anything else. Like usually we just go through the airplane like every 15 minutes to collect trash or recyclables. But there's like crew members that just say, I'm done with service, I'm sitting down, I'm doing nothing. And I'm like, yeah, so lazy crew members is the one. All right, let's go back to the DM. Sorry, guys. This is a good one. So how effective is it to do, say, 30 squats, 30 jumping jacks, 30 reverse lunges every hour for about 6 hours while at work versus one single workout at the beginning or the end of the day? So I think that's awesome. Because if you're continually, taking breaks throughout your workday while working at home and allowing yourself to get blood flow going, you're going to have your metabolic rate increased throughout the day. So instead of just really like ramping up your metabolic rate, which is like your calorie burning process in your body, with just one workout, you're basically extending that metabolic rate from like the start of your workouts throughout the whole day. So if you guys can take like a 10-minute break every hour and just bust out 30 squats, 30 jumping jacks, or 30 reverse lunges, just to keep your blood elevated, it's going to keep you even more focused too. That little mental break is going to be a way to reduce mental fatigue while working. So that was a good question. Hey, Hey, I'm currently enlisted in the California National Guard. Is infantry a good MOS? I like the idea of being an infantryman, but I want to make sure I can come home safe to my family after deployment. Well, infantry is the grunts. They're the main people on the front line, so they're going to be the first people to see combat. So I wouldn't say it's the safest MOS to choose, which is so MOS is military occupation in the military, if you guys are wondering. So I mean, I would just stick to whatever you're doing, and if your main goal is safety, infantry isn't the one to choose. All right. How often you deploy with the National Guard? From my experience, so my unit, I think we're on a every 4 to 5 year deployment rotation. We're actually coming up on one. I think, I don't know, maybe we'll see. 36 was watching, 11. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 36 people watching, 35 now, and only 11 thumbs up. I appreciate that. Be sure to smash that thumbs up, guys. With limited service or no service, if someone asks for water, are they just told no, or can you provide them with water? Yeah, we can provide them with water. Usually I go through a couple times, try to ask them if they want to refill on their water, and because I mean it gets really boring right now. As easy as it is, I mean the job is easy itself, but the job just became even easier because it's like we do almost nothing. Now we're just sitting there waiting. Um, so I try my best to just keep active and walking through the cabin and seeing if they want some water or more water. I think I heard you say in another video that you submitted a warrant officer packet. If you did, have you heard anything? So I submitted my packet March 18th to become a warrant officer pilot in the Army. And then the last I heard was the interview date was April 18th, but that got canceled. I answered that a little more in depth earlier in this live stream. Maybe sometimes. My number one pet peeve as a traveler is when those skinny, anemic folks complain about it being cold. That's a good one. So what if you ask if they want something and then they don't want anything, then right after service they press the call button. It's the same thing. It's you gotta still go back and continue your service, and just because we're done with service doesn't mean you guys can't ask, passengers can't ask for more things. So it's part of the job. I have had some guy, we were we were setting stuff up in the front, and I was in the middle of like setting up my cart, and he kept pressing his call button, and like I looked down to check, and like the other flight attendant checked, and he was okay, but he just kept pressing it, like ding 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 ding, and we went down there to ask him what's going on. He's like, "Hey, how much time do we have in the flight?" And it was like literally 30 minutes into the flight. So I don't know if this guy was like messing with us, but it's crazy. Let's see. Did Shanley and I apply to get money yet? We haven't applied yet. Well, we're planning on applying for unemployment because we're gonna have reduced hours starting next month. And if you have reduced hours as a flight attendant, you can apply for unemployment. What I do want to also incorporate on this channel is taxes. I'm not gonna give you tax advice, but I'm gonna try to have a tax expert or a tax professional go over how to do your taxes as a flight attendant, because it's really iffy. Like there's a lot of things you can kind of write off, and not only that, I kind of want to have someone explain the benefits of having a YouTube channel and taxes as well. All right, let's see. Let's go to questions. Just keep asking your questions. I'm gonna scroll through and see if I can find some good ones. This is a nice message I got. It's, "Hey Chris, great YouTube clip. I did the knee jumps, the push-ups, the side plank, and the V-ups. Probably work it up to 10 rounds. He's going to start with 5. He goes, Shanley should do podcasts. I felt the positive energy from her advice when you guys were in the car chatting. Shanley has a lot to offer. Good luck with the share trading. So if you guys didn't know, Shanley's my girlfriend. She was on my last video, and we kind of did a little sit-down chat. And I guess a lot of you guys like that. And that was a very nice comment for Shanley, so I'm going to make sure to share that with her. So thank you, Tony. But yeah, Shanley is doing her own thing. She's doing coaching. She wants to do a podcast as well, so she's going to be working on that stuff as well. But yeah, so what I want to do is, I don't know if you guys have heard of Patreon or OnlyFans. What I think I want to start doing is setting up a Patreon where you guys pay to get access to videos that I create on a monthly basis. And like, I think one of them that I really want to do is like a cooking video where I give you guys my grocery list and I say, hey, you guys can go live with me and you can cook dinner. That would be a pretty cool thing on Patreon. It's a little more like one-on-one type thing. And then there'll be a lot of fitness stuff on the Patreon account too, like setting up like a fitness plan, nutrition plan, and stuff like that. Thumbs up, love it, love it. Yeah, if you guys are new here, smash that thumbs up. A lot of good stuff on here. Let me vlogs. Yeah, a lot of people. So someone just talked about how they were asleep during service and they woke up, kind of upset because they didn't get service. I always remember, like, I don't know why, but I just somehow randomly remember if you're sleeping when I go through with service. And then if I go back through and I see that you're up, I'm like, hey, did you want a drink or did you want a snack? So it's just something that I subconsciously do and remember to do, because I know how that feels like when you fall asleep and you miss service. Yeah, the only time I press the button is if I'm flying as a passenger and Shanley's working and I want to bug her. I'm just like, ding, 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 ding. Love flying on JetBlue. I was wondering if your company's planning to cut SAS, reduce more domestic flights in May/June. I'm not positive. I don't work on that side of the department. What does JetBlue Corp think of your vlog? I don't know. I don't say anything bad about the company. I love the company. I'd hope they look at my vlog as a positive influence on other people, other acquiring flight attendants. What are you guys' thoughts on my vlog? Do you think it's appropriate? Let me know. How do I get my hair so fluffy? Well, if I didn't tame this bad boy, I'd have an afro. But I just put this hair gel. It's like a oil in my hair, and it kind of just keeps it soft and smooth and gives it a nice fluff. I'll show you guys that later. Thoughts on Patriots new jerseys? They look like the Ole Miss jerseys, and I don't know. They're kind of plain, but I think that they're all right. What's you guys' thoughts on Tom Brady leaving? I'm like I still get angry when I see him posting about the Buccaneers. I don't know about you guys. I feel like I've been cheated on. I don't know. Gives me a bad feeling. Let's see. Hey man, I watch your YouTube videos. I'm considering a reclass to 11 Bravo. Do you know if reclass MOS's military occupations go to Fort Benning for school, or do they just get brought up to speed in their unit? So if you're going to reclass from whatever military occupation you are to 11 Bravo, which is infantry, yes, you got to go through AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training at Fort Benning. I heard it's getting extended, but when I was at Fort Benning, Advanced Individual Training was 4 weeks long, and it was no joke. That was, if you guys are thinking about going to boot camp, if I could give you one insight on it. It was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my life. But looking back on it, it was a very valuable experience, and instilled a lot of discipline in me. Let's see. Yeah, if you guys got more questions, keep asking them. I'm going to stay on here as long as I can because all I got is time. That's a weird question. A lot of people talking about the travel bags. So the travel bags, so I have these travel bags. Hold on. Don't mind this room. This is like the storage room. I think these are the travel bags they're talking about. So these are travel bags that I take with me on my layovers. And what I do is instead of like packaging up your dirty clothes or your gym clothes that you wore that are sweaty and smelly, you can get these like gym bags and they sail in the smell, and they're washable and reusable. So instead of what I used to do when I first started the job, I would use the trash bags. I would just put all my dirty clothes in trash bags. I'm trying to be a little bit more sustainable, and these are just nice little additive. If you guys haven't checked that video out, I did a video where I did like my top travel essentials, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. Shout out to the 32 in here. What's up? We got 33 now. All right. New subscriber. What's up? Welcome. Welcome. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate it. Just thanks, Jim, because you read it. This is nice. Thanks, J-Rod. So I believe my group was the last to do the blue reviews in early March. I'll just thank you for your channel because you're the reason why I even went through with this with Jetblue. So yeah, those comments and like those are what keep me going, and I appreciate it, and I think that's why I think I'm a positive spokesperson or image for the company that I work for, is because one, I love the company, I do, and I love their values. So hit that thumbs up. Thanks, Lighthouse. Appreciate it. Yeah, so the last video, I'm sorry about that comment. The quote, I guess Joel Osteen's a bad guy. Really good quote, but Joel Osteen's a bad guy. So I didn't expect that to kind of backfire. I was like, oh, I don't know who Joel Osteen is, but if you guys do, let me know. And then like there's a bunch of comments in there about how filthy rich and bad that guy is, but it was a good quote. Yes, it was highly recommended. Do I know how many years of service the most senior FA is at JetBlue? Probably 20 years. Probably one of the founders, I would say. But I don't know him personally. JetBlue does not fly international. Our goal is to go to Europe in 2021. So we'll see about that. How often do you have 3 to 4 day drills at your unit? So this is back to military. It really depends on so there's you're on a timeline every year, and it's like a crawl, walk, run phase to your deployment. So every year drills are different. But I think towards your 4th and 5th year, getting ready for deployment, your 3 to 4 day drills are going to increase. And I don't know if you saw the video where we just rolled out with a 7-day drill week. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be implemented a little more down the road. Yep. Let's see, go back to the questions. If you guys have any more questions, military, fitness, flight attendant, lifestyle, what's going on, let me know. I'll go back to the comments here in a second. The name of the AirPod covers that make them more comfy sitting in your ears. So the covers themselves don't make them more comfy, but what they do is, I was just wearing them actually. So what these are them right here. So they're not they don't make them more comfy. What they do is this little hook right here hooks into your ear, and it just keeps the AirPod in there. So if you guys work out or go for a run, I think one of the most annoying things was when I spent $240 on these things was that they were popping out. I was like, I spent all this money and they're popping out. They shouldn't do that. And I think one of their new features should be this, and it just slides right on. But you put it in, and then you like push it in your ear. It's flexible, and it literally holds your AirPod in there. It's probably one of the best investments I've made for these AirPods, because I was getting ready to return them, and then someone told me about these, and I got them. But the link for these are down below in the description section if you want to check out the exact ones I bought. I think they were like $8 or $10 on Amazon. But yeah. Thanks, Jane. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. AirPod covers are awesome. Did you lose money because I declined the trip? Oh yeah. So if you guys saw that video where I was on reserve and I declined the trip. So I had a 3-day trip originally and it was canceled. So what they did was they put me on line holder reserve for 3 days. So basically back on reserve. And when you're on line holder reserve, this one thing that I didn't know, but kind of still doesn't make sense to me. But if you're a line holder and you're on reserve, you're first to be called over someone that's regularly on reserve. So they ended up calling me on my 3rd day, and I got pay protected for the Friday and Saturday part of my reserve. But I called a team leader and asked them about Sunday. And she said that right now it looks like I'm pay protected, but she's unsure. And she said that I was also pay protected for the trip that they gave me. So I don't know if they're going to pull from my PTO and just put it towards that trip as well. But it's one of those things that I'm still waiting on, and I'll have to figure out here soon. So as of right now, I'm pay protected, but most likely not. They'll probably take away that pay for that trip. My favorite layover. I loved LA just because I never been on the West Coast. It was really fun. I just took an Uber to go to the Hollywood sign, hiked up the Hollywood sign. I went and got sushi. I went and walked around, checked out like the stars with all the famous people on there. And the hotel that we were at the time was awesome. It had like a rooftop pool, like a garden bar outside. It was an awesome area. It was just a good experience. LA was the best. I'm hoping to get a San Diego layover here when this all clears up, because I'd love to go check out San Diego. Hello. What was your biggest misconception / surprise about being a flight attendant before you joined the profession? It's a good question. Very good question. My biggest surprise was probably the pay. Like when you go to the interview and they're talking about pay and you see the hourly rates, you're like, oh, that's a really good amount of money, But as a flight attendant, you're paid per flight hours and stuff. And I knew that, but like in my head, like I was like comparing the hourly rate pay, and I was like, oh wow, that's like huge. I think some companies they're paying starting off from like $21 to $30 an hour. And if you see those numbers, you're like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. So I'd say the biggest misconception or something surprise was how little of money I made my first year. My first year I made 25,000. So yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But they say once you get to your 5th year, you make a little more money. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate the follow. Thank you, guys. How likely are you to go to a combat zone in the Guard as infantry? Depends. I mean, if you're infantry, you're in the Guard. I mean, I think our last deployment was a combat deployment. The deployment before that was a combat deployment. It's just, it's a quiet time right now on deployments. It's not as active or as crazy as it was in like 2001 or 2011 when we first, started the war. But it really depends on your unit. If your unit is high speed, they're going to send you to a more combat effective zone. But if your unit is or battalion is less high speed, they're going to send you on like a cush deployment to like an island or something. So it really just depends on your battalion and how squared away they are. How easy / hard is it to get on the same flights as Shanley? So the question was, how easy or hard is it to get on the same flights as my girlfriend? It's, I mean, most of the time what Shanley and I do is we usually she gives me the crew members, or I give her the crew members that are on my flight, and she'll email them and say, hey, if you guys don't want to work this trip, I'll work that trip for you. And then she'll just take it over. And, likewise, I'll do the same thing. And then if she's not working, kind of like what we want to do when this all blows over is we're going to have opposite schedules. So when she's working, I'm going to be off, and then I could fly with her and hang out with her on our layovers. And it just allows us to kind of be together a little more. What's up, Carlos? What kind of bags do you recommend for starting as a flight attendant? I don't know which airline you work for, but my airline, they gave us our bags. I think I have the bags that I used linked in the description as well, but I'm not positive. I think I might have took those out. Let's see. How do you feel when your flights are fuller? I had one this week and it made me really anxious. Personally, I haven't had a full flight, but I have seen articles where like there are flights that are full and the flight attendants said, no, I'm not working. And I think if my company were to put me on a full flight, I would probably do the same thing, because one of our values is safety, and I don't think that's safe personally. And I think they've been cutting down the capacity of the flights. So if you guys are new here, hit that thumbs up. We got 43 minutes of awesomeness. I appreciate it. All right. Just watch all them looking at each other. That's a long question. Do I have any walk-in vlogs? Because I'm a cardiac patient, I'm trying to increase my steps. Jane, I do not have any walk-in vlogs. And I'm not a medical professional, so I don't feel comfortable giving advice for that. I would definitely, kind of go to your doctor and see what they think is best for you. I think you represent JetBlue very well. Appreciate it. Most corporate execs are uptight about unauthorized filming. Yeah, so we have a social media policy at our company, and it's something that I kind of follow to the T. And one of the biggest things is just not recording during flight. So I always do my vlogs pre-boarding, and then I always do my vlogs at the hotel. So it's just cutting that out all in between. That's probably why you guys never see any flight attendants recorded during flight, because you should be focusing on the passengers and safety. Just makes sense. And, it's just, can't really record passengers. Some of the questions are a little, yeah, you should go to my direct messages. I got some weird questions in there too. So this is a good question about the National Guard. I'm looking at joining the Army National Guard in my state, looking at infantry. I'm currently law enforcement and have a college degree. There is a large bonus for enlisted in my state, and was wondering what you thought about infantry versus officer and the combat arms. I think it's always good if you're just joining the military to start off enlisted to kind of learn the lower ranks. And the reason this is going to benefit you in becoming an officer is because you're going to learn the lower enlisted lifestyle. You're going to see kind of what they're struggling with, so that when you do become an officer, I think one of the biggest problems in the military, in any company, is that there's someone that's put into position or power that has never, done other jobs, and they're trying to demand or tell you how to do something, but they've never done it. So I think starting off enlisted is the best way to go, and then transition to an officer. That's what I did. I'm coming up on my 9th year as an enlisted soldier, and putting in my packet to becoming a warrant officer. I heard it's easy to go from enlisted to officer in the Guard. Was wondering if you know how true that is. It is very easy. It's just you got to be able to sacrifice that time to go through OCS, which is Officer Candidate School. And I think that's the biggest difficulty for most people is once they get in the military, they start to have a family, and then obligations pop up. And then when it comes around that time, like, oh, I should probably transition. They have all these other things pulling them in different directions that, kind of takes from them having the ability to leave and, go officer. So that was a good question. Really good question. Yeah, if you guys are cool, if you guys think it's a cool idea to hop on here, go live once a month, answer all your questions as much as I can. I think I'm gonna start setting like a permanent day each month. Like, hey, this is the day I'm gonna be going live. Make sure to set your calendars and get your questions ready. And then I want you guys to ask me on Instagram, because it's tough to go back and forth. Although it is fun, I'm having a good time. Hope you guys are having a good time. If you're having a good time, smash that thumbs up. There's a lot of questions in here. A lot of big questions. Let's go over here. That is your number one value. Yep. Thank you, sir. What are your thoughts on Tiger King? I haven't seen Tiger King. I don't plan on watching Tiger King, but I did watch Ozarks. And that show is amazing. If you guys haven't seen Ozarks, it's a really good show on Netflix about a guy that money launders, and he's like part of like a Mexican cartel, and it's just like a family guy, and the whole family's involved in it. It's crazy. What's up? We got people from London in here. That's pretty cool. What time is it in London? Favorite city to fly to? LA. West Coast is fun. Hey Chris, thank you for the channel. Owen asks, I live in Massachusetts and considering enlisting in the Army National Guard. Would you say this is a good state to be based in? What military occupation are you trying to go? So like my thought process when I moved from Florida back up to Massachusetts was like, I'm not going to switch from Florida Guard to Massachusetts Guard because one, when we do field training, I don't want to be out in the snow. Like I hate cold. So that's like one of the biggest reasons why I didn't transfer from the Florida Guard to Massachusetts. And the other reason is Florida offers this thing called the Florida 30. So you can retire at 30 years with a full pension, whereas I think most states only allow you to retire at 20 years with 50%. And it's a National Guard thing. And I think there's only like 3, maybe 4 units or states in the country that allow you to do the 30 years and get the full retirement. So that's another big reason why I'm still in the Guard in Florida, is because I'm trying to recruit time in case it comes to that point where I'm like, hey, I'm going to do 30 years. I don't want to do 4 years over in Massachusetts, then have to make up those 4 years in Florida. But yeah, I think I have a couple friends in the Massachusetts National Guard. I don't think they've deployed in, I think he said it's been like 6, 7 years. Do I ever fly JetBlue as a passenger? Yeah, I fly often as a passenger. I had a bunch of plans to go out to the West Coast and shoot some pretty cool videos with some YouTubers out there that was going to happen. And then this coronavirus happened, and we're still planning on doing that. So I'm excited to share you guys that content that we have coming up in the future. But they're military YouTubers, and they have a pretty big channels. and it's going to be pretty awesome. 1:20 a.m. in London. Wow. And you're up here watching me? That's awesome. Thanks, man. Fan from Mexico. Mexico's fun. Air France. 11 Bravo. So Owen said 11 Bravo was his first choice. Owen, if you have any questions about the Massachusetts National Guard, send me a message on Instagram and I'll connect you with some of my buddies that are here that can answer your question for you, because I've never been in the Massachusetts National Guard, so I'm not too positive. I've had a few celebrities on my flight. I think one of them, I had a professional UFC fighter, I forget his name, and then I had a Patriots linebacker, Mike Vrabel, on one of my flights. Shanley had Chris Lane and his girlfriend on her flight, and she was like freaking out, texting me. But we're not allowed to get pictures with them, and it's a company policy type of thing. So we just pretend like we don't know them, and we get excited. Are flight attendants required to clean the vomit if someone throws up? We do have cleaning kits for, we have a biohazard kit to clean that stuff up. Are we required? Usually the family or the person that pukes cleans it up, and then we try to clean up the area, sanitize it, and then put it in the biohazard bag. And then once we land, we have like professional cleaners come on and kind of clean it up. I've personally have cleaned up puke, but yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's required, but I mean, if it comes down to it and you have to do it, you're probably gonna do it. Keep asking questions, guys. I'm gonna go till 60 minutes, so we got 7 minutes. We'll hop on here for 7 more minutes, and then I'm gonna hop off. I hope you guys enjoy this. So someone asks, I've been watching your flight attendant vlogs and it's very informative. I've been waiting for JetBlue to have openings for flight attendant, although I know this is not the best time due to the pandemic. Anyway, may I ask a question? Were you a full-time military serviceman before you joined JetBlue? Reason is I am a full-time seafer. I don't know what that is. I mostly worked in cargo ship, although I used to work passenger cargo ship. I'm afraid that I won't be qualified. If you're in the military, prior military service, I think any job you apply to, it's going to benefit you. It's not going to be a disqualifier by any means. I think if anything, most companies love hiring military because of their work ethic and their discipline. So you should be good. Emma Trott used to want to be a flight attendant, now an EMT. I went to EMT school. Fun fact, I was actually going to go through fire school. And then as I was in EMT school, I got the job offer from JetBlue. And I went to JetBlue training. And then I had to leave JetBlue training for a day to go take my EMT final. So I am EMT certified. So it is an option. I decided to become a flight attendant because my girlfriend, me and her, we always talked about traveling, and we just thought this was a pretty good opportunity. And it's not a desk job, and I've done plenty of desk jobs, and I just know that I was miserable, even if they were internships. And I knew that I didn't want to be stuck at a desk. But just because it's something that I didn't like doesn't mean that it's not the right path to take. So if that's what you want to do, we all have our own paths and we decide on where we want to go. And I decided I didn't want to be at a desk, even though I'm at a desk right now. Worst turbulence you've experienced? I wasn't a flight attendant, but I was flying from Vegas back to Boston. And I just remember, I feel like we dropped like a couple thousand feet, and the lights went out. And I thought like the lights went out, like we were going down. But I think the flight attendants just shut the light. Like now that I think back on it, like prior to being a flight attendant, I was like, oh man, the power went out on the airplane. But it wasn't that the power went out. I think the flight attendants just shut the lights off, and like I just remember my heart sinking and being like, oh my god. But yeah, we were flying from Vegas back to Boston, and it was the scariest thing. Am I becoming a Tampa Bucks fan? No way. I'm a Brady fan. I am jealous though. We're on to Stidham. Jarrett Stidham. Leaving soon for boot camp if all goes well. Active duty, 35S. Do you have any idea if I'll have an opportunity for sniper school, or is that only for infantry? Yeah, so you, in order to so sniper school or sniper section is a combat MOS. So a lot of people 11 Bravo. So yeah, you have to try out. It's not its own specific MOS, even though it's like a B4 identifier. It's not something that you can join the military and be like, hey, I'm going to go to sniper school right away and become a sniper. You have to go infantry first and then try out for sniper section, and then you can go to sniper school. We put dried coffee on vomit. We've done that as well. It actually absorbs it pretty well. My girlfriend and I have been together. We met in August 2017. We've been dating since January 2018. We come to my graduation as long as I get a CJO when this is all over. Yeah, and if you guys, I always say that, if you guys have a graduation coming up, obviously there's not any coming up anytime soon, but I'd love to, if I have the free time, I'd hop on a flight, come down, and pay your wings for graduation. So feel free to reach out to me. The best way to see your message is through a comment on YouTube, because when I first started the whole YouTube thing, like I would answer all my direct messages, and it's to the point where it's like, I can't. There's not enough time in the day. But what I still do is answer all my comments on YouTube. So if you do have a question for me, keep that in mind. Ask it on YouTube. Any more modeling jobs? No, there was supposed to be one April 1st to the 4th, but I'm pretty sure that got canceled, and everything's on hold right now. But there was one that just popped up for Bravo Sierra. It's a military company. I did some stuff for them last month, and another opportunity popped up, pretty good pay, so I'm going to apply for that one. But other than that, no. I mean, not the prettiest, so I get limited jobs. I was there. I was in training, 520 JBU. Thank you for videos, of course. Yep, still planning on doing the pilot training, guys. It's on hold, just like everything else. My flight interview was April 18th, but it got canceled. I don't know, Olivia. I don't know. I mean, where I'm at in Massachusetts, the virus, I'm kind of just locked in my house. If I go out, I go through a drive-through, get a coffee, and that's about it. But it's just quiet. It's like ghost towns everywhere you go. Love Mexican food. I created a Chipotle bowl that I made that I'm gonna put up here soon. I'm gonna show you guys how I make that. It's so delicious. Got a couple more questions if you guys want, and then I'm gonna get out here. I gotta go edit some stuff. My favorite YouTuber? That's a good question. The reason I started YouTube was because I watched this guy named Nick Bear, and I love his stuff, and I still watch his stuff. I'll post it here. Nick Bear is number one. I posted it down there. I like Max Chunin. He's funny. He adds a lot of comedy. and I love watching his progress with his businesses and just seeing his growth from when he started to now, and like running 2 successful businesses. Nick Bear, Max Tunin. Who else do we got? I used to watch Steve Cook a lot. He kind of fell off for a little bit. Last one would be Christian Guzman. So I kind of like watched a lot of people in the fitness industry and business industry, and Nick Bear is just like a simple, straight, laid back guy. He was like someone that I felt like I could relate to. And I was like, if he can make a YouTube channel, I feel like I can make a YouTube channel. You know, I didn't have these crazy qualities or this sporadic behavior or super funny or super witty. I was just, you know, normal, simple guy. And I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. So don't watch any other flight attendants on YouTube. I love I watch Maleeves TV. He's hilarious. I just watched his recent video. His commentary is great. Check him out. Yep, Steve Cook was on The Biggest Loser. Be sweet if I get to meet him, huh? She's from Chile. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you guys have any more questions, ask them down in the comments when I end this live stream. And yeah, it was a pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys got some value out of this. And if you guys want me to do this again, I'd love to do it. See y'all later.